Hello everyone, my name is Mickey Supernova, and today I'd like to read you a story I wrote called The Portal. This is a project I've been working on for almost 2 years, and I'm very excited to share it with you today, and I hope you enjoy it. Once upon a time, there was a magical black cat named Ulysses. She brought peace and good fortune to the humans she met. They often sang of her greatness, singing, "Ulysses the cat, she's always got your back. And if you think she can't, she's still the greatest cat. Oh, Ulysses, 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 oh." Ulysses the cat was truly the world's greatest cat. She was everybody's friend. She lived with a group of friendly humans in a cottage near the woods by a small and winding creek. On a rainy evening in mid-spring, Ulysses left to wander the neighborhood and sadly never returned. The days turned into weeks and spring turned to summer without any sign of the world's greatest cat. Her friends greatly missed her. The summer solstice arrived on a distinctly hazy day that year, and the humans of the cottage and Azula the dog gathered to celebrate the new season. They sat on the stoop in the shade and reminisced about their foregone feline friend, anxiously wondering if she would ever return. Ulysses had always been a consistent source of love and support in their lives, and it was difficult for them to believe that she was truly gone. As they sat in silence, they were awakened by the sound of a brass gong in the distance. Azula's ears perked up and she began to cheerfully bark as she walked down the path that led to the creek. They called for her return, but she continued to journey further away from the group. Determined not to lose another friend, the humans of the cottage quickly left the stoop and hurried towards the source of the reverberation. The sounds of nature and rushing water grew louder and louder as they journeyed down the narrow passageway. The group began to notice an array of glowing lights of greens, blues, and purples start to appear in the distance. The colors reflected off the plants and wildlife surrounding them. At the end of the trail, they discovered the source of the mesmerizing lights. A colossal glowing monolith was lightly hovering on the banks of the other side of the creek. It was made of black obsidian and shaped in the dimensions of 1 foot by 4 feet by 9 feet precisely. A portal with hypnotizing kaleidoscopic designs glimmered in the center of the structure. Azula hopped over 3 granite stones to reach the other side of the creek, and she beckoned for the group to follow. She approached the monolith and howled like a wolf. The powerful sound of a gong reverberated once again, causing the portal within the monolith to glow even brighter. She looked back at the group and then proceeded to hop through the center of the illumination. The humans of the cottage had never seen such a spectacle, but they did not hesitate to follow their friend into the lights. On the other side of the portal, they discovered a new but familiar world. The air was clear of pollution, and the creek was free of litter. The earth and its creatures were healthy and vibrant. The group followed Azula upstream on the banks of the creek, and they left the glowing monolith behind them. As they journeyed by the water, the surrounding plants began to hum and vibrate around them, mimicking the sounds of chimes and standing bells in every direction. The vibrations flowed from their leaves, and the sound waves slowly washed over their bodies, putting each of them in a deep and meditative state. Their minds felt especially clairvoyant and receptive to everything Azula wanted to show them. At the bottom of a steady waterfall, the group stopped for a short rest. As they watched and listened to the water flow, the humans of the cottage were surprised to hear a new voice in their heads playfully say, "You know the water here is safe for you to drink." The humans looked at each other and then at Azula in amazement. She tilted her head as if to imitate the humans' confusion, and then started to smile with her tongue out as she panted for breath. "Don't be alarmed," the voice continued. "In this dimension, we collectively think and act on a higher vibration, and as a result, we can communicate with one another through telepathy." Azula bowed her head to take another sip from the stream and said, "If you listen close enough, even the plants and elements will speak to you." This statement profoundly resonated with the humans, and they all together thought, "Wow, that makes so much sense. We love the energy on this enchanted plane." And they joined Azula at the edge of the water and drank from the natural source. After a short rest, they continued their journey upstream. They slowly approached a large stone bridge in the distance, and Azula paused to say, "When we cross over, you will understand why I brought you here." The group reached the end of the bridge, and to their pleasant surprise, they saw a regal black cat with glowing green eyes patiently waiting for them in the shadows on the path ahead. "Ulysses, is that you?" the humans of the cottage asked. "Yes, it is I, Ulysses the cat. I have missed you dearly. Welcome to the New World." She hopped into their arms to give them a warm embrace. It was a happy reunion. "I have great news to share with you," she said as she purred. "We don't have much time to spare. Let me show you all of the beautiful things that the earth and her creatures can hope for." They ran across the wood and followed Ulysses into a heavily forested grove of aspen trees. She slowed down and sat under one of the oldest and tallest trees within sight and softly asked, "Do you know where we are?" The world around them had a recognizable essence, but the group was unsure of their place in time and space. "The cottage we used to live in once stood in this very spot," she spoke. "The land we are standing on has a new and impactful purpose now. This is the birthplace of the Mother's Forest." Ulysses' tail swung back and forth as she explained, "This forest and all it represents will play a pivotal role in the life and destiny of our dear Mother Earth. It has been dedicated to revitalize and sustain her health and longevity. This grove and its surroundings were planted and nurtured by mindful humans with optimistic and symbolic intentions. The deceased remains of compassionate human beings and their animal friends are buried beneath the roots of the trees you can see all around us. They have been buried with a hopeful purpose that will greatly contribute to the circle of life. We are standing in a modern cemetery. After the deceased are buried on this hallowed land, a tree is planted above them to bring forth a new generation of life. Every time their loved ones return to the mother's forest, they can reconnect with their ancestors and friends and help the new ecosystem there to thrive. As caretakers of the land, they will learn to be mindful of future generations as they work towards leaving the earth better than they found it. This is a sacred space and a standing symbol of humanity's desire to repair and strengthen their home planet. It is a place of solace, reflection, and reconnection. This is one of countless forests all over the universe dedicated to this very important cause. Ulysses made eye contact with everyone in the group as if to emphasize the importance of her message, and then pressed onward towards a nearby clearing that overlooked the valley below. The wind changed, and the countless trees below them started to glisten in the sunset. Ulysses looked at the burning sky in the distance and declared, "In the nearby future of your timeline, a major shift in consciousness and intention will significantly change the course of the planet and all of its inhabitants. Humankind will fully adopt their pivotal role in the health and destiny of the Earth and all of the life forms which depend on her. As they colonize the universe, a paradigm shift will envelope their cognizance. Gratitude and awareness will motivate them to abandon their obsession with greed and consumption. A lifestyle of minimal impact with zero waste and zero emissions will be the new ideal. Every human will renounce their dependence on fossil fuels and animal sustenance. They will universally adopt a healthy lifestyle with renewable energy and a plant-based diet. With the help of technology, they will implement a sustainable way of living in every possible facet on each and every new planet they colonize. As they discontinue their concepts of national borders, race, gender, and orientation, they will learn to respect their coexistence and interdependence in one another and all other life forms. They will truly live and die by the slogan, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Humanity will finally lay down their weapons of war and unite upon the universal goal of maintaining a healthy society and thriving planet. They will come to realize that healing the earth provides the greatest benefit to the collective interest of all. Once every individual begins to understand that the illusion of ownership is essentially temporary, they will completely eliminate their competition of resources. Innovation and collaboration will be encouraged throughout the world, empowering humanity with the tools to overcome their unhealthy habits and scarcity problems. Providing a dignified condition of living for every human and organism on the planet will be one of society's greatest accomplishments. When the world concertedly adopts these important truths, they will reset their calendars to 0, and the year 0 will commence. The reformed calendar year will stand as a symbol and beacon of hope for the new world and its paramount values. How will all of this happen? The humans asked Ulysses. She calmly responded, once you meditate and understand the inevitable fruition of these good tidings, you will recognize your role in its destiny. You must remember that all things are possible with love, compassion, awareness, and gratitude, my friends. But all of these changes seem so difficult to implement, they responded. The powerful examples and hopeful attitudes of a select few will be the catalyst of positive feedback that the world so desperately needs. Their resilient positivity will swiftly spread throughout all time and space, forever changing every timeline moving forward. The resonance of a brass gong rumbled in the distance near the portal where they first arrived. It is time for us to go, said Azula. Will you join us? The humans of the cottage asked Ulysses. The mother's forest is where I must reside for now. I cannot return with you to the world before 0. But think of me and this attainable utopia every time you make a positive choice. Remember to love, to be compassionate, and to always be grateful for our sweet Mother Earth. Each and every one of you plays a pivotal role in her future. Please don't let her down. The humans of the cottage took one last look at the valley below, admiring the vibrant colors of the sunset as it spread across the horizon. They bowed their heads and turned to retrace their steps back to the portal with Ulysses by their side. They mostly walked in silence as they contemplated everything they had learned that day. They were truly relieved to know that Ulysses was happily residing in the world after 0. The humming vibrations of the plants along their journey resonated deep within their hearts and minds, washing away all of their anxieties. They found the monolith in the twilight where they left it, hovering near the banks of the winding creek. Azula proceeded to howl, and the nearby plants began to lightly chime in unison, and the sound waves caused the portal to glow even brighter. The group stopped to give Ulysses a goodbye hug and then turned to face the obsidian gateway. They took one last deep breath of fresh air and gradually walked towards the kaleidoscopic lights. Their bodies melted into the illumination, and Ulysses loudly proclaimed, "Do not fear the future, my friends. Our journey has only just begun." In the dark of the night, Azula and the humans of the cottage returned to the land before 0. The monolith slowly faded away, and the crickets chirped to welcome them home. Once the group caught their bearings, they joyfully embraced one another. They were determined to be the positive change the world so desperately needed. 0 was the goal, and 0 would be the future. They hopped over the same granite stones that led to the other side of the creek, and they walked in the dark on the pathway home. On their journey to the cottage, Azula and the humans resolutely sang, "Ulysses the cat, she's always got your back, and if you think she can't, she's still the greatest cat. Oh, Ulysses, 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 oh." the beginning. Thank you for listening, and I hope this story inspires a dialogue, and I hope it inspires someone out there to make small changes in their life that can help each of us heal the planet and save each other. I love you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.